Hey guys, tonight we begin with something a little darker. A time of plagues, punishments, and pottage. We're diving into what life was really like during the Middle Ages. The truth, you probably wouldn't last a single day. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And what time it is for you. In the dim glow of candlelight, amidst the echoes of pain and despair, walked a woman whose presence brought hope where none existed. Her name was Florence Nightingale, the lady with the lamp. Born in 1820 to a wealthy British family, Florence could have lived a life of comfort and privilege. But her soul longed for something greater, a purpose that transcended society's expectations. From an early age, she felt a divine calling to serve humanity, a whisper that led her away from luxury and into the heart of suffering. When the Crimean War broke out in 1853, thousands of British soldiers lay wounded in filthy, overcrowded hospitals. Disease claimed more lives than the battlefield itself. And into that darkness stepped Florence, carrying not just medical supplies, but compassion, discipline, and light. She reorganized the hospitals, cleaned the wards, introduced hygiene, and brought structure to chaos. Night after night, she walked the long corridors, a lamp in her hand, her face calm, her voice gentle. To the soldiers, she was not just a nurse. She was an angel, proof that kindness could still exist amid carnage. Her efforts revolutionized nursing and modern healthcare. But Florence's true gift was her vision. She understood that compassion, when combined with knowledge, could heal not just wounds, but entire systems. After the war, she returned to England, dedicating her life to reforming hospitals, training nurses, and writing works that shaped the foundation of medical care across the world. Florence Nightingale's legacy is not measured only in medicine, but in humanity. She proved that one determined spirit can bring light to the darkest corners of the earth, and that even in war, mercy can prevail over misery. In a storm of lightning and dreams stood a man who saw the world not as it was, but as it could be. His name was Nikola Tesla, a mind of pure fire, trapped in a world not ready for his light. Born in 1856 in a small village in what is now Croatia, Tesla was different from the very beginning. As a child, he could visualize machines in perfect detail, spinning, whirring, functioning, all inside his mind before a single piece of metal was ever touched. He called it visual thinking, but the world called it madness. When Tesla arrived in America in 1884, he carried nothing but a letter of recommendation and a head full of ideas that could change the future. He worked briefly for Thomas Edison, but their visions clashed. Edison believed in hard work and profit. Tesla believed in imagination and endless possibility. Soon, Tesla set out on his own, building the foundations of alternating current, AC electricity, the invisible force that powers our modern world. But his brilliance came at a cost. His inventions were often stolen, his funding cut off, his genius dismissed as insanity. Yet, in the quiet of his lab, surrounded by coils of energy and arcs of blue light, Tesla kept dreaming. He imagined a world connected without wires, where information could travel instantly across oceans. A dream that would one day become the internet. He saw clean, limitless energy drawn from the earth itself. He saw a future powered by light. And though he died alone in a small hotel room in 1943, his ideas lived on, humming in every circuit, glowing in every city skyline. Nikola Tesla didn't just invent technology, he invented the future. A dreamer who taught us that true genius isn't about power, it's about vision. In a world where science was dominated by men, one woman dared to reach for the invisible forces that shape our universe. Her name was Marie Curie, a pioneer, a mother, and a light in the darkness. Born in 1867 in Warsaw, Poland, Marie faced hardship from the very start. Her family struggled financially, yet she excelled in her studies, driven by a relentless curiosity and an unyielding spirit. She dreamed not of comfort, but of discovery. Marie moved to Paris to study at the Sorbonne, immersing herself in physics and chemistry. There, she met Pierre Curie, a kindred soul, and together they began experiments that would forever change humanity's understanding of matter. Their work led to the discovery of polonium and radium, elements that glowed with a mysterious energy. But the path of discovery was dangerous. Long hours in poorly ventilated labs exposed them to radiation that few understood at the time. Yet Marie's determination never wavered. After Pierre's tragic death, Marie continued her research alone, breaking barriers as the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and later the only person to win in 2 scientific fields. Her legacy is more than her discoveries. It's her courage to defy norms, to push boundaries, and to illuminate what others feared to touch. Marie Curie's story reminds us that brilliance often comes hand in hand with sacrifice, and that light, whether in the form of knowledge, courage, or human spirit, can shine even in the darkest of places. From the glowing laboratories of Marie Curie, we journey to the rugged hills and sprawling townships of South Africa, where one man would turn decades of imprisonment into a lifetime of liberation. His name was Nelson Mandela, a symbol of resilience, justice, and the relentless pursuit of equality. Born in 1918 in the small village of Mvezo, Mandela grew up understanding the injustices of apartheid. Segregation, oppression, and discrimination were the harsh realities of life, yet he nurtured a dream, a vision of a nation united, free from chains and fear. As a young lawyer and activist, Mandela risked everything to challenge the apartheid system. He faced arrests, harassment, and ultimately a sentence of 27 years in prison. Yet behind the cold bars of Robben Island, his spirit never wavered. He studied, reflected, and forged a vision for peace and reconciliation that would outlast his confinement. Upon his release in 1990, Mandela stepped into the world not with vengeance, but with a profound commitment to healing. He led South Africa through its first democratic elections, becoming its first black president, uniting a fractured nation with courage, forgiveness, and vision. Mandela's life teaches us that true strength is not measured by force, but by endurance, integrity, and the ability to turn suffering into transformative change. His legacy endures as a beacon of hope, proving that even the longest walk toward freedom can lead to a brighter tomorrow. From the hills and prisons of South Africa, we cross oceans to the streets and churches of America, where a voice rose that would awaken a nation. His name was Martin Luther King Jr., a preacher, a leader, and the embodiment of hope. Born in 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia, King grew up amidst the harsh realities of segregation and racial injustice. Yet, he was nurtured in faith, education, and the belief that love and nonviolence could transform even the most oppressive systems. As a young minister, King became the face of the civil rights movement, preaching courage, equality, and unity. He organized marches, boycotts, and speeches, demanding justice not through anger or violence, but through moral clarity and peaceful protest. His most iconic moment came on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in 1963. With thousands gathered before him, he spoke words that would echo through generations. "I have a dream. A vision of a world where children of all races could walk hand in hand, judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." King faced constant threats, arrests, and relentless opposition. Yet he never wavered, believing that change required courage, perseverance, and an unwavering moral compass. His assassination in 1968 was a moment of grief for the world, but his dream lives on. Martin Luther King Jr. reminds us that even in the darkest times, a single voice, grounded in truth and justice, can inspire movements, awaken consciences, and change the course of history. From the dream of equality and justice, we turn to the realm of numbers and imagination, where a woman foresaw a world of machines that could think. Her name was Ada Lovelace, a visionary mathematician, poet, and the first computer programmer. Born in 1815 in London, Ada was the daughter of the poet Lord Byron, yet her mother steered her toward logic, mathematics, and science. From a young age, Ada showed an uncanny ability to see patterns where others saw only numbers, a mind capable of imagining what machines could achieve. In her 20s, Ada collaborated with Charles Babbage, the inventor of the analytical engine, a mechanical computer. While Babbage saw the machine as a calculating tool, Ada envisioned far beyond. She imagined it creating music, art, and complex simulations. She wrote the first algorithm intended for a machine, centuries ahead of its time. Her insight was revolutionary. She recognized that numbers could be manipulated in ways that mirrored thought itself. She merged creativity with logic, blending poetry and mathematics into a vision of the digital future. Though her work remained largely unrecognized in her lifetime, Ada's legacy endures. She is the patron of modern computing, a reminder that imagination, foresight, and courage to challenge norms can shape worlds yet unseen. Ada Lovelace teaches us that innovation is born not just from skill, but from daring to dream what others cannot yet conceive. From the imagination of Ada Lovelace, we journey to the vast cosmos, where a man would peer into the very fabric of time and space. His name was Stephen Hawking, a mind that defied the limits of the body and reached for the stars. Born in 1942 in Oxford, England, Stephen showed a curiosity about the universe from an early age. He asked questions that others considered impossible, questioning the nature of time, black holes, and the origins of the cosmos. At 21, Hawking was diagnosed with ALS, a degenerative disease that would gradually paralyze him. Most would have surrendered to despair, but Stephen's mind refused to be confined. With determination, humor, and incredible intellect, he continued to work, write, and inspire. His groundbreaking work on black holes and theoretical physics redefined our understanding of the universe. He showed that black holes are not entirely black, that time can bend and twist, and that the cosmos is far stranger and more beautiful than imagination alone could capture. Stephen's courage was not only in science, but in life itself. Despite his physical limitations, he traveled, lectured, wrote bestsellers, and became a global symbol of human resilience. His wit and wisdom touched millions, showing that the mind can soar even when the body cannot. Stephen Hawking teaches us that curiosity, perseverance, and the courage to confront the unknown are the true measures of greatness. In looking to the stars, he reminded humanity of the boundless potential of the mind. As we travel through the lives of Florence Nightingale, Nikola Tesla, Marie Curie, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., Ada Lovelace, and Stephen Hawking, one theme becomes clear. Courage, vision, and persistence can shape the course of history. Each of these remarkable individuals faced enormous obstacles. Some confronted war, oppression, or societal norms. Others battled physical limitations, skepticism, or invisibility in male-dominated fields. Yet in every case, they turned adversity into purpose. Florence Nightingale brought light into the darkest hospitals. Tesla imagined worlds powered by energy no one yet understood. Marie Curie illuminated the secrets of atoms. Mandela transformed imprisonment into freedom. Martin Luther King Jr. made a nation dream of equality. Ada Lovelace glimpsed the future of computation. And Stephen Hawking reached beyond the stars. Their stories remind us that human potential is limitless when curiosity meets courage, and when knowledge is paired with compassion. Every challenge, every failure, every risk they took was a step towards something greater, a legacy not just of achievement, but of inspiration. As we close this journey, let us carry forward their lessons. To seek truth, to act with integrity, to innovate, to dream, and above all, to believe that one individual, guided by courage and vision, can change the world. History is not only written in events, battles, or inventions. It is written in the hearts and minds of those brave enough to leave their mark. From the cosmic brilliance of Stephen Hawking, we descend to the mountains of Pakistan, where a young girl defied fear to speak for education, equality, and hope. Her name is Malala Yousafzai. Born in 1997 in Mingora, in the Swat Valley, Malala grew up under the shadow of Taliban control. Education for girls was forbidden, and violence was a constant threat. Yet Malala's spirit was unyielding. She spoke boldly for the right to learn, inspiring countless others with courage far beyond her years. In 2012, a violent attack tried to silence her, but Malala survived, and instead of retreating, she became a global symbol for education and human rights. With her words, actions, and the Malala Fund, she continues to fight for children worldwide, proving that bravery is not measured by size or age, but by the strength of conviction. Malala's life teaches us that even a single voice, raised in truth and courage, can echo across the world, breaking barriers and lighting the way for generations to come. From the courage of Malala, we shift to the forests, oceans, and cities of our planet, where a teenage girl rose to challenge the world to protect its future. Her name is Greta Thunberg. Born in 2003 in Stockholm, Sweden, Greta felt the urgent weight of climate change from an early age. As the world debated, she acted, sitting alone outside the Swedish parliament, holding a simple sign, "School Strike for Climate." That small act ignited a global movement. Greta's voice is direct, uncompromising, and fearless. She speaks truth to power, confronting world leaders, corporations, and citizens alike with the stark reality: our planet is in danger, and urgent action is needed. Her activism has inspired millions of young people worldwide to demand change, proving that courage and clarity can challenge even the most entrenched systems. Through storms, criticism, and political pressure, Greta continues her mission, reminding humanity that the future belongs to those willing to fight for it today. Her story shows us that age is no barrier to impact, and that moral courage can ignite a global revolution. In the bustling streets of Brooklyn, New York, a young girl named Joan Ruth Bader was growing up in a world that often underestimated women. Born in 1933, Ruth faced the harsh realities of a society where opportunities for women were limited and expectations were low. But she carried within her an unyielding determination, a sharp mind, and a profound sense of justice. From an early age, Ruth demonstrated remarkable intelligence and resilience. She loved to read, question, and challenge. Education became her sanctuary, and she pursued it with relentless vigor. Despite societal norms, she enrolled at Cornell University, where her intellect shone. Later, at Harvard Law School and Columbia Law School, she excelled academically, often being one of the few women in her classes. Ruth's early career was marked by frustration. Law firms refused to hire women, and opportunities were scarce. Yet, she turned obstacles into motivation, teaching law and continuing her fight for equality. She began challenging discriminatory laws, using the courts to show that gender-based injustice harmed everyone. Her work on landmark cases reshaped American law. She argued before the Supreme Court with precision, passion, and an unshakable commitment to equality. Through decades of advocacy, she became a symbol of fairness and courage, earning the affectionate title, the Notorious RBG. As a Supreme Court justice, Ruth continued her lifelong mission to defend rights and dismantle systemic discrimination. Her dissents became rallying cries for justice. Her wisdom shaped generations, and her persistence inspired millions around the globe. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's life is a testament to the power of resilience, intellect, and courage. She reminds us that change is possible, even in the face of entrenched inequality, and that one determined individual can rewrite the rules of justice for all. In the streets of Omaha, Nebraska, a boy named Malcolm Little was born in 1925 into a world of racial prejudice and systemic oppression. His early life was shaped by loss, poverty, and injustice, experiences that could have broken his spirit, yet instead forged within him an unyielding drive to fight for equality and human dignity. Malcolm's youth was turbulent. He faced hardship, brushes with the law, and the harsh realities of segregation. But it was in prison that he began to transform his life. Through study, reflection, and spiritual awakening, he discovered the power of knowledge, identity, and purpose. Upon release, Malcolm X became a prominent voice in the fight for civil rights. Unlike others who preached integration through patience, he advocated for self-respect, empowerment, and the uncompromising defense of his people's rights. He traveled, spoke, and challenged the status quo, confronting the uncomfortable truths about America's racial divide. His pilgrimage to Mecca transformed his perspective further, teaching him the universality of humanity and the potential for unity across cultures. He returned with a renewed vision, one of hope, reconciliation, and the global fight for justice. Malcolm X's legacy is profound. He demonstrated the courage to confront oppression directly, to question injustice relentlessly, and to inspire generations to take ownership of their identity and rights. His voice continues to echo, reminding us that freedom is not merely given, but earned through vigilance, courage, and unwavering determination. In the lush forests of Gombe, Tanzania, a young woman named Jane Goodall embarked on a journey that would change humanity's understanding of nature and ourselves. Born in 1934 in London, England, Jane was a curious child, captivated by animals and the mysteries of the natural world. She dreamed not of a conventional life, but of adventures among wildlife, observing their behaviors and learning their secrets. At the age of 26, Jane arrived in Gombe, armed with determination, notebooks, and an insatiable curiosity. There, she began her groundbreaking study of chimpanzees, observing them with patience, empathy, and deep respect. Unlike many scientists of her time, Jane named the animals she studied, recognizing their individuality and complex social behaviors. Her discoveries were revolutionary. She documented tool use, family bonds, problem-solving abilities, and even expressions of emotion among chimpanzees, behaviors once thought to be uniquely human. Jane's work challenged long-standing scientific assumptions, reshaping the fields of primatology, ethology, and conservation. Despite harsh conditions, skepticism from the scientific community, and the dangers of the wild, Jane persevered. She inspired a generation to value empathy alongside observation, to see nature not as a resource to be exploited, but as a complex, sentient world worthy of respect and protection. Beyond research, Jane became a global advocate for conservation and environmental education. Through the Jane Goodall Institute and countless talks, she continues to empower young people to engage with science and conservation, teaching that compassion and understanding can coexist with discovery. Jane Goodall's life reminds us that curiosity, empathy, and determination can transcend boundaries. By listening to the voices of the wild, she taught humanity to look beyond itself, to honor the intelligence, emotion, and worth of all living beings. In the heart of Kenya, amidst rolling hills and rich soil, a girl named Wangari Maathai was born in 1940. From an early age, she understood the fragile balance between humans and nature, and the profound responsibility of stewardship over the land. Wangari's life would become a testament to courage, vision, and the power of grassroots change. Wangari grew up in a society where women's voices were often overlooked. Yet, her parents encouraged education, and she excelled in school. She pursued higher education in Kenya and later in the United States, earning degrees in biology and environmental studies. Her knowledge was not only academic, It was deeply personal, rooted in the connection she felt with her homeland. Returning to Kenya, Wangari faced challenges: deforestation, environmental degradation, and social inequality threatened communities and ecosystems alike. She founded the Greenbelt movement, empowering women to plant trees, restore the land, and advocate for sustainable practices. Each sapling planted became a symbol of resilience, a tangible step toward environmental justice. Wangari's work extended beyond ecology. It intertwined with human rights, democracy, and women's empowerment. Her activism drew both admiration and opposition, but she remained steadfast, showing that environmental health and social justice are inseparable. In 2004, Wangari became the first African woman to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, recognized for her tireless efforts to promote sustainable development, democracy, and peace. Her legacy endures in the millions of trees planted, the communities strengthened, and the global awareness she inspired. Wangari Maathai teaches us that one person's vision, grounded in courage and compassion, can grow into a movement that nurtures both the earth and humanity itself. Her life is a powerful reminder that stewardship, advocacy, and resilience can transform the world. From the forests of Kenya to the classrooms of Pakistan and the streets of Europe, the fight for knowledge, equality, and a livable planet continues, carried forward by two extraordinary young women, Malala Yousafzai and Greta Thunberg. Malala, the girl who once braved bullets for the right to learn, continues her journey as a global advocate for education. Her story is not only one of survival, but of empowerment. Through the Malala Fund, she champions the education of girls worldwide, advocating for policy changes, safe schools, and the dismantling of barriers that prevent young women from realizing their potential. Each speech, each meeting, and each campaign reflects her unwavering belief that education is a fundamental human right, a tool to break cycles of poverty, oppression, and inequality. Across oceans, Greta Thunberg has inspired a global movement to confront climate change with urgency and integrity. From her solo strike outside the Swedish Parliament, she ignited Fridays for Future, a wave of youth activism that spans continents. Greta's voice challenges complacency and demands accountability from governments, corporations, and individuals. Her courage reminds us that age is not a barrier to impact, and that even a single determined individual can spark worldwide change. Together, Malala and Greta embody a new generation of leadership. They show us that courage is not limited by years, and that truth, when spoken boldly, can inspire millions. They teach that the battles for knowledge and sustainability are intertwined, and that advocacy is most powerful when it is persistent, compassionate, and fearless. Their lives illustrate that the future is shaped by those who refuse to remain silent. As young people everywhere rise to meet the challenges of their time, Malala and Greta remind us that hope, action, and conviction are the forces that can move the world toward justice, equality, and sustainability. In listening to their voices, we see that history is not only made by the famous figures of the past, but is continually rewritten by those willing to stand, speak, and act for a better tomorrow.